morning sun. She stretched one long orangey leg and then another long orangey leg, making a big happy arch with her back. She let out a tiny soft yawn that sounded like a little puff of air. The day was fresh and new, and it promised to be full of wonderful, happy things. It was a perfect day for a little adventure, a day to explore the big, wide world just outside the door. Mama Orange looked down at her sweet, sleeping babies, all snuggled up in a fluffy, furry pile. They were her little kittens, her tiny treasures, and she loved them more than all the fish in the sea. First, there was Pip, the bravest of the bunch. Pip had fur as fiery and orange as his mama's, but with a little white spot right on the tip of his tail, like a tiny flag. He was always the first to try something new, his little legs ready to pounce and play. Pip saw a wiggly worm peeking out from the soil and gave a tiny playful mew of surprise, fluffy ball of gray fur with big round eyes that saw everything. Then there was Patches, a funny little kitten with spots of white, black, and orange all jumbled together just like his name. Patches was the playful one, the silly one, always ready for a game. And last was Cuddles, a soft, creamy white kitten who loved nothing more than It was a butterfly with wings like bright yellow sunshine.
Ooh, a flutterby?
The butterfly dipped and swirled through the air, flitting from one colorful flower to another. The kittens had never seen anything so magical. They all stopped and watched, heads tilted, completely mesmerized. Pip, being the bravest, decided he wanted to get a closer look. He crouched down low, tail twitching with excitement. Wiggle, wiggle, pounce. He leaped into the air, his paws reaching for the flutterby. The butterfly was too quick. It fluttered up, 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 just out of his reach. Pip landed softly in the grass with a little poof, looking surprised.
Flutterbys are for watching, my little Pip. They are too delicate to catch. We can be their friends by letting them fly free and be beautiful.
Squeak sat very still near a patch of purple clover. A blue-winged butterfly landed on the clover, resting there. She watched, still as a little statue, eyes wide with wonder. After the butterflies danced away, Pip's adventurous spirit was still buzzing with energy. He spotted a big, fluffy dandelion seed head standing tall and white like a fuzzy lollipop. With a mischievous glint in his eye, he gave it a big puff with his nose. Poof! 100 tiny seeds flew up into the air, each with its own little parachute, creating a magical, swirling snowstorm in the middle of the sunny garden. The tiny seeds floated and drifted on the gentle breeze, sparkling in the sunlight as they danced their way across the lawn. The sight was so surprising and delightful that it made all the other kittens gasp with joy. This was a game Patches could not resist. Seeing how much fun he was having, cautiously joined in. She gently tapped at a slow-drifting seed with one tiny paw. Even Cuddles, the sleepy one, was enchanted. She sat and watched the floaty seeds, her head turning from side to side as if she were watching a wonderful slow-motion tennis match just for kittens. The game of chasing the dandelion seeds turned into a happy, giggly chase among the kittens themselves. Soon they were tumbling and rolling together in a heap of orange and patchy fur. The sun climbed higher and higher in the sky, making the day feel very warm. Mama Orange noticed her kittens were starting to slow down. Their playful pounces became a little less pouncy.
Come, my little ones, the sun is very bright. It's time to find a nice, cool place to rest for a little while.
She stood up, stretched her long orange body, and led them toward a giant leafy tree at the edge of the garden. This was the big oak tree, like a giant green umbrella, branches reaching up to the sky, and its leaves were so thick that they made a lovely, shady spot underneath. The air here was much cooler, and the ground was soft with old leaves and moss. The leaves rustled gently in the breeze, making a soft, whispering sound, like the tree was telling them a secret. Shh, 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 went the leaves. The kittens followed their mama into the cool green shade. Pip, the explorer, immediately started investigating this new shady world. He sniffed at the tree's thick, bumpy trunk, trying to see how high it went. Squeak discovered a tiny snail making its slow, careful journey across a damp leaf. She watched it with her big, curious eyes, careful not to disturb its important trip. Mama Orange found the perfect spot, a patch of soft moss that felt like a velvet cushion. She curled up, making a warm, safe circle with her body. After their short rest, the kittens woke up. They stretched and blinked, feeling refreshed, ready for a new adventure. Mama Orange led them through a different part of the garden. They came across a wonderful surprise. The morning watering had left a small, shiny puddle in a little dip in the lawn. The sun made it sparkle like a silver mirror. It reflected the big blue sky and the fluffy white clouds. Pip, ever the curious one, crept to the edge and peered in. He saw another kitten looking back at him. He tilted his head, and the kitten in the puddle tilted its head too. He reached out a paw to gently touch the nose of the kitten in the water. Splash. A tiny ripple spread across the puddle. The kitten in the water wiggled and disappeared. Pip jumped back with a surprised meow, shaking his wet paw. This made Patches giggle. He ran right up to the puddle and stomped a paw in the middle. Splish splash. Little drops of water flew everywhere, sparkling like tiny diamonds.
It's only water, my sweet Squeak.
Soon, all the kittens were gathered around the puddle, each playing in their own way. They were learning that new things, even surprising, splashy things, weren't scary. They were just another wonderful part of a fun day of discovery. As the puddle play wound down, Pip's sharp eyes spotted something else of great interest. Lying in the grass near the rose bushes was a single, perfect-looking feather. It was long, gray, with a soft, white, fluffy bit at the bottom. It must have fallen from a bird that had visited the garden earlier. Pip thought it was the most wonderful toy he had ever seen. He pounced on it, grabbed it in his mouth, trotted away with his prize held high. He shook his head back and forth, making the feather wiggle and dance. It was his, all his. Patches saw the feather and thought it looked like the best fun in the world. He ran over to Pip, wanting to play too.
My turn, my turn. No, it's mine!
Squeak watched from a distance, his ears drooping a little. Cuddles watched from a distance, her ears drooping a little. The happy, playful feeling in the garden had disappeared. Mama Orange saw what was happening and walked over calmly. She didn't scold Pip. She sat down beside him and gave his head a gentle lick.
It is a very beautiful feather, my little Pip. But don't you think the game would be more fun if you played it with your brother? Toys are nice, but playing together is the best fun of all. When we share, our happiness gets bigger because we give some to others.
Pip looked at the feather, then at his brother Patches. He thought about how much fun they had chasing the dandelion seeds together. That was more fun than playing alone. He looked at Mama Orange, and her kind eyes told him what to do. He walked over to Patches and dropped the feather right at his paws. Patches' face lit up. Soon they were taking turns, tossing the feather back and forth, a happy, shared game. Squeak joined in, Cuddles joined in, and the garden was once again filled with happy, playful mews. The sun was beginning to get sleepy. It wasn't as high and bright in the sky anymore. It was dipping toward the hills, painting clouds pink and pale orange. The air cooled, and shadows grew long across the grass. The kittens' big day of adventure was coming to a close. Playful pounces became sleepy stumbles. Their yawns grew bigger and bigger. Mama Orange knew it was time. Flutterbys, the shady tree, the splashy puddle, the feather game. All that exploring had been very tiring for such little kittens.
Time to go home, my little ones.
She led them back across the garden, their tiny shadows dancing long beside them in the fading light. They walked past the quiet puddle, now a dark mirror reflecting the colorful sky. They padded under the big oak tree whose leaves were whispering a soft goodnight. They passed the patch of dandelions, now closed up and sleeping, and the flowers where the flutterbys had danced. Pip walked proudly, his little white-tipped tail held high. Patches ambled along, occasionally trying to bat at a long shadow. Squeak stayed close to her mama's side, and Cuddles trailed just behind, letting out a big yawn. They were a perfect little parade of kittens, following their wonderful mother home after a perfect day of fun and learning. As they reached their own back door, Mama Orange paused and looked back at the beautiful sunset. She gave each of her kittens one last, loving lick. They had been brave, they had been kind, and they had learned to share. Now it was time for a bowl of warm milk and a long, deep sleep, all snuggled together. As they slipped inside, safe and sound, the last little sliver of the sun winked goodnight, promising another beautiful, happy day tomorrow.